Good evening. I hope my voice will last 5 minutes here. Good evening, Dr. Birdwell, President Perlberg, and board members, and Sandra, and everybody who's sticking around. We do thank you. Let me get our PowerPoint up. So like our schools that have already gone this evening, we too have our 3 goal areas: teaching and learning, climate and culture, community and communication. And in developing these goals, and I'm so sorry, I want to introduce one of our stars, one of our STEAM team members and gifted math teacher on our campus, Mrs. Pam Morfitt, and I thank her for staying so late with us as well, and she'll actually be sharing some of our plans. She's one of those leaders on campus that has been instrumental in bringing the amazing PD to our staff. So this evening, however, we will focus on just several of our goals from our teaching and learning goal area. And as I said, this really is a team effort. The whole staff has been reviewing our AZ merit data, our quarterly benchmark data from the previous year when we sat down, and various formative assessments. And so looking today, we're going to really highlight the professional development in which we've been engaged this year. That is connected to our ELA goal and our academic rigor goal, which will emphasize the innovator's mindset as part of our STEAM initiative. And so our goals are similar to goals you have been seeing. We're interested in moving our students up performance levels. Like Tonalea K-8, our scores have also been going up on the proficiency, but we're working on the growth. And so that's going to be a focus for us. So the area I'd like to highlight this evening from our ELA goal is the work that we've been doing on writing, specifically the areas of purpose and focus, organization, elaboration, and evidence, which fits really nicely with what we've been doing last year with bringing reading and focusing on building a capacity in reading for information text. So it was a natural fit with the elaboration and evidence. So pictured here, our staff has been learning the Jane Shafer writing formula this year. It's kind of an ongoing process, and pictured here is a graphic organizer that our teachers spent time learning and working on, and they're focusing on that writing process. In fact, all of our academic teachers, as well as all of our elective teachers, are incorporating this process into their curriculum. So this has been an ongoing process this year, and during our professional development, our staff was introduced to some of the key vocabulary, some sample paragraphs that our ELA teachers put together. Also, leaders on our campus, a rubric for scoring and instruction on how to use those resources that we have provided them. The next goal, we'll spend a little more time here, and that's our final goal being highlighted today, is that of academic rigor. It actually started last spring. We put together a team, and Mrs. Morfitt is part of that team. We call it the STEAM team: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And we have been attending, thanks to our PTO, a year-long leadership series through the Maricopa County Education Service Agency. And so we have been attending that since last spring and continuing through this fall. It emphasizes the innovator's mindset and really the engineering design process. And so really what we're focusing on are ways to empower our students to be innovative thinkers and problem solvers. Skills that when you research what our business is looking for, right there it is. So we honed in on that. Our professional development has been ongoing, as I said, in the innovator's mindset and the engineering design process. And one of our teachers, Mr. Bloom, he's an electives teacher, and there's a photo from his class. He sent an email to me, and I'm just going to read a short quote from it following one of our trainings, and then he implemented some of the things that we learned on that engineering design process. And he writes about his students. He says, I was impressed how they worked through the characteristics of the innovator's mindset on problem solving, resiliency, risk-taking, creating and observing to come up with their own solutions. And he was just blown away because he gave them an assignment and they accomplished it with their sensors, as you see, their robots. And then he gave them an extension, and the students went just way beyond. They started collaborating within groups and problem solving, trying new ways to come up with a solution. So he wanted me to share that. And another exciting learning opportunity, really, that's been taking place all year. In fact, it's including all the principals in Scottsdale. It's the McCrell Leadership Training Professional Development. And there's a big idea out of that, and it's called balanced leadership. And one of the components of that is to develop the use of all of your available assets, whether it's tangible or intangible. And so I took that to heart, and I feel like this year has been really, I think, the best as far as professional development. And it's not, unfortunately, it's not because of me. It's because of people like this, and I tapped into that thanks to that McCrell training. And so I've invited Mrs. Pam Morfitt here to kind of share a little bit about what you're seeing in the picture and what she's been doing along with other teachers. So I will turn it over for about a minute.
Yes, yes, short minute. I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to speak. To empower students with STEAM, we first need to make sure that we've empowered our teachers, and because there are teachers that have not been able to have the time to deal with and learn the engineering design process themselves. So this particular challenge we as a staff did, and the actual challenge is to balance a bunch of nails, and you can see them in the picture, on the head of a single nail. And in this picture, the teachers are using the engineering design process with the hopes that they're going to take it back and implement it within their curricular areas. We have had, I would say, no resistance. Everyone's really taking it and loving it. And really, one of the quotes real quick that was said was, make sure that you would want to be in your own classroom. And that's kind of what is steering us. I want to share one quick example of how I use all of our goals in my classroom. I teach in algebra. Well, I teach different levels of math, but in my algebra classroom, after I've done some introductory work with absolute value equations, I put students in roles as a quality control officer for a motor company. And they were given 4 different machine shops from which they could choose to order pistons for a batch of motors. Well, kids had to first go through the engineering design process to understand how a motor works. And so they had to research and things like that as well. Each shop sent them an accuracy of their machines and a cost per piston. And then the students had to use the engineering design process in evaluating which piston's accuracy would be closest to the diameter of the bore head, and of the bore that was in the motor. But they also had to take into account the cost structure. So there was not one right solution, but they had to have evidence to prove it. And in that project, we took our Rigor goal, took it out of real life to solve a real life world math problem, and then we used the Jane Shafer method of writing, and they had to give evidence as to why they selected the company that they chose, and they had to have mathematical evidence and just verbal evidence as to why they selected it. So we're taking it to the next level. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you very much. Where are we here? So again, what's important to emphasize here is that STEAM is not just a class. Yes, we have robotics. Yes, we've added forensic science. Yes, we do those kinds of things. We added 3D printing. That teacher that I had that photo of, he started that in his technology class. But it's really just more of, it's a way of thinking. It's a way of doing things, and and that's that engineering design process where you bring it to social studies, and you bring it to ELA, and you bring it to math and science. So, so again, I'll just kind of end really with, we were asked to have some photos, and so this was our first week back, and we wanted to introduce what we learned over the summer with our team. And so we were brainstorming, and we gave teachers an assignment. Here is some paper. It's flat paper, nothing else. You need to build a structure. I'm sorry. You need to build a structure as high as you could without anything else. And it was amazing, and I chuckled. I think I made the comment that first week. It was the teacher with, it was the table with the art teacher. So STEAM, not just STEM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, that actually developed the highest tower. And what they did was they did this interlocking kind of thing, and their tower really grew tall. So this is important because it, again, was teaching that engineering design process, the way of thinking, and what it did was it brought back these ideas for teachers. It challenged them to help them think about communication and creativity and collaboration and critical thinking when they make their lesson plans. And so, again, a lot of this is what teachers are doing already, but we want to make it just the norm. And so that's kind of one of our goals. And again, there's just, we're doing a little book study. And as I mentioned, MCASA that's the team that we have, well, the top 4 that we've taken. Others are part of the STEAM team on our campus. And with that, I want to say thank you all for listening. And
Thank you.
I'm glad my voice left.